Ice is so cold that pneumonia. I might hit that bitch with that super soaker. I heard that boy getting bread, so we gon' heat his ass up with the.
Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? If you guys can hear me, okay, just let me know in the chat. But we'll go ahead and start with the top-down analysis here very quickly over NQ and kind of what I'm expecting from what I'm seeing overnight. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I've already marked up pretty much everything for the morning when it comes to NQ, YM, ES. Also, obviously, dollar. I've also moved everything around here ready for QQQ just to see kind of what we get on the open of that. And then I do need to recheck the news here again to see kind of like what we're looking at for news for today. Let me do this here really quick. Oh, cool. Just like this and this one, same size, just a little bit. Okay, so let's see here on this. Everything's set, OBS. Okay, so give me 1 second here, and then we'll do the top-down analysis here going into the 820. I just want to make sure I can see the chat. Yo, what's up, Chris? What's up, bro? Nice to see you. Grand Rising. Okay, let me make sure I can see everything here. Okay, cool. So guys, again, today we'll go over the top-down analysis. We do have some news coming out. It looks like here, nothing, doesn't look like anything red folder. Give me 1 second, sorry. Okay, it doesn't look like anything red folder for like that's going to affect us as much for the futures. So looking at like Wednesday, we got a really big day. Tuesday looks like a no news day. Thursday looks like a pretty high impact day, and then Friday, no news. So looking at the overall markets, right? What I like to do is look at the dailies, the weekly dailies, right? Higher time frames. Looking at the 4 hour is more for directional play for me. So when you look at how we've played coming into this already, we've already started to form like that higher low, that directional play to push higher from the previous day highs on YM, possibly even here on ES, and as you can see here. But because of how we've pushed the price in the overnight, pretty much what I'm anticipating is that we've pushed into a 4 hour supply here, and we're either going to reject in this area 24,650s to 700s and see a fall over, or we're going to go ahead and push on through that level. So let's just focus on NQ for right now, because we'll look at the other ones as we go. But looking at this daily as well, we already have a massive daily bar that's printed. So the overnight buyers are the ones that are in profit. So what I'm essentially saying is here is when I'm watching this 4 hour area, when you're coming into this 50% of this volume here, you're also looking to your right and you're seeing a special candle, which is this candle, being respected. That means to me that those overnight buyers, right, the ones that bought from below the previous day lows inside those 24,320s or even 24,400s, right, they're up almost 250 handles in the overnight. So most likely, because we know these locations of supply are areas where buyers would like to exit their positions, we anticipate going into New York that potentially they're going to short and we're going to roll over back into the initial balance. Like that's what I'm planning on seeing. Like to buy here on a continuation will be a very risky and a little bit more difficult of a trade. But to understand that, individuals from the market open, let's just say they bought at 6 p.m. last night, they're up over 300 handles, right? So they're going to essentially start trailing risk, pulling the move off the board, right, to secure the bag. So that's pretty much what my higher time frame perspective is going into this today. And then looking, like I said, at the other assets here on the 1 hour, we're very similar, right? YM's already made it to the area of supply. ES still has some room to go, and then NQ is kind of rejecting in the area. So today, I would be, not a financial advisor or anything like that, but I'm going to be very patient and just look for that A to B setup, right? Just a little quick, in and out type of situation, because if they roll over here pre-New York before, because it's 8:18 right now, if they roll over pre-New York, I'm going to let them do that, and then maybe I'll find a short back down into the demand of 24,500 or inside these inefficiencies in these areas here. But I'm not going to try to like predict or force anything. I'm going to play what I see. So if you guys have any questions, definitely drop now. What's good, Philip? What's good, bro? You're out in Germany, correct? I don't know if that's the right area where you're at, but I thought that's where you were at. And so let me do a couple things here just really quick. Let me know, guys, if the stream is fine and seems okay, looks okay. I know in the recordings too, just really quick, just some for weekly update stuff. I know in the recordings you need to make sure that you switch it back to 1080p, especially if you're on your phone, because sometimes it'll just load and doesn't show it in the best quality. But if you change the quality on the settings on YouTube, then it will go back to 1080p. And then today, guys, this will be probably the last day that I'm posting inside the announcements page. Well, I'll be posting always in the announcements page on Telegram, just because I have people that have followed me on that page for a while, and that's where I've dropped a lot of stuff over my journey. So I kind of like use that always as like a RickeyTrades announcements page. But today, later this afternoon, the free Discord chat will go live, and you guys will be able to join, and we'll be able to converse and drop charts and talk a little bit more in there. And keep the community centralized so that we can stay focused on our goals, okay? So, let's see, what did you say, Philip? Okay, cool, that's why I thought that's what we had talked about. So yeah, I do like the shorts too, bro. I do like shorts just because of where we're at. I'll kind of go back to just NQ here. Looking at NQ, right, we have a really nice daily bar already printing, but because the overnight buyers, right, the one individuals from here, and then most likely it's like people who bought obviously the lows, and then I would think people probably bought like somewhere in that London low, right? I would think that those individuals need to take profit, and where they're going to take profit at is usually going to be a supply candle, right, inside of a 4 hour, 50% of supply. So if these areas do work out, yes, I would like to roll back over at minimum to here, 24,520s or somewhere, but 24,550s or below. But we shall see. So I'm gonna move you guys over in just a second here at 25 over to the 15.5 window, and then we will get ready to get locked in. Now, the one thing I will say, like on those 15.5s, is they already look pretty good, but I'm just not forcing myself into a move before pre-New York. And so, guys, if you guys like trading live with me, you'll see in the Discord this afternoon, how to set all that up. And then going forward on YouTube, we will probably trade live on Mondays and Fridays. But there will definitely most likely be trade recaps on YouTube. But if you want to like directly talk with me or like do one-on-one calls or stuff like that, you'll just join the Discord, and then we'll go from there. Okay, let me make sure I have everything set up for me. Write down all my mantras. Grand Rising, what's going on, Chad? What's going on, bro? Okay, I just got everything organized here. And then really quick, while we have a few minutes, I'll show kind of the same thing, guys. If you're looking at ES, YM has already started to take off, right? That previous day low, and then we have it opened up outside of the previous day low range. So that's a really good set low, like they have done on all three. Let me make sure and turn this one blue as well. Okay, so now you can see that we're pretty bullish going into this, and I would anticipate that if we do start to see sell side, we should see the ramp up of YM up to 47,200 or 47,150 or higher. And so looking at that 4 hour, that looks really good. If you guys are focused in on those areas that we've been talking about, those London lows looking nice. Like liquidity, yeah, they really do. Those 24,475 do look good. But looking at this, right, we have last week's low on YM. We have last week's low here for ES and NQ. So if we have a bullish continuation day, I wouldn't be surprised as well, just because of where we're at in the bigger scheme of things. And then as well, they've already blessed those overnight traders. So you don't want to think, oh, okay, well, just because the buyers are in profit, they're going to sell off. That's not always going to be the case, especially on a Monday. So, and then really quick glance, since we're close to 25, I still am, since my TP was delivered from that last week, the gold trades up to the 522s, I'm looking at rollover, guys. Like, I want to see price roll back over below 49, 48. And come down into this daily area more and see if we can get down there. But we'll see today, because they are drawing on liquidity right on this level here, and then they are starting to fit this demand. So we'll see. They could end up ramping off that price and continuing higher. So we'll see how they play out. But I do want to know where they play. And then make sure you guys really quick have the QQQs up, so you have an understanding of higher time frame liquidity and where NQ has a good chance to go. Okay, so I'm going to stop ranting here. It's 8:25. We'll stick to the charts here. Like I said, I'll move you guys over to the higher, or the 15.5 most likely window. And that way, if I start to see something brewing, you guys know I'll start to drop the risk reward tool, which I kind of like it now, but let's see. Okay, so cool. You guys are on the middle monitor. And then we have everything set up over here. Just want to make sure on this one. And remember, guys, we want to focus up on 80 levels and 20s. So very healthy price on the way up. Take a footnote here. Hour also small wick. Okay. Just looking at the pre New York, like looking here at 15.5 and then smaller time frames. I want to see how price is gonna brew, but if they do sell off, I could see something like, something down to like come back for this scoop and to retrace some of this back into this inefficiency of like 24.550s. So something along those lines if it was to work out, but we'll see. I'll kind of keep this up, but I'm not essentially taking a trade right now. All right, so I'm gonna move this though, just because I know last week they could just go from the beginning or they could just ramp it back up. So I'm just kind of watching instead, but have that area in mind. I think it just works better when I speak directly into the mic. I don't think I was speaking directly into it. Sorry. All right, guys, we got 20 seconds. Let's get it. Remember the area I said to have eyeballed, okay? So, something like that. But we're being patient here because the open will probably run the highs first. So we're not taking this. I don't want anybody to think that we're taking a trade there, okay? And then where's that QQQ super gap up? So that's what I wanted to see. New York open. Nice little fall from that area. It's not a bad area. Definitely would have produced a 1 to 3 already on just, I think, close to that. We'll see. But those first opening range trades, that you want to be patient. Nice. Let's see them run the highs here. As you guys can see. Remember too, guys, there is a 15-second delay, so that will be the advantage of being inside the Discord, because it's going to be live price. So as I'm executing, you'll be executing as well. Okay, so let me take some notes here. Okay, starting to move higher. Let's see, 830, 835. Now, me personally, I'm not gonna, I don't have the buy position in this situation, just because it's inside of a, if you're looking left, a 1 hour supply. So I would rather just kind of sit on the sidelines on this. So. ES definitely has some room to move here. But now key level is just a 50% of the H1 candle, so that 24,700, that's all that is. Let me lock in here. This is where they tricked buyers last week. Same area. So I'm looking at potential shorts here at the 24,700 level. But we'll see. Watch the 5 minutes, see how it closes here. Also watching small time frame to kind of see if the signal is going to present. We're in a good location on H1. Five minutes look kind of strong. Let's see. Five minutes still really strong, so just being patient here. ES looks actually pretty good. Here, I'll pan over to that really quick. Alright. ES looks actually really good when you're looking at, I look at YM, ES, and NQ. And NQ is pushing inside that supply, which is great. And then we still have a lot of room to go on ES, which I thought ES was a better buy, to be honest. So just being patient. I like how the price is stacking on NQ, but like I said, I just don't want to get caught in supply here. Alright, when we see this rejecting on YM, like we were talking about, 47 inside the supply candle, we should see a little bit more of an uproar here. So now I am looking at this, like this does look pretty good. If you guys are trying to stack a buy off this position, just make sure you're thinking in probabilities and looking for something to like extend up like that. I wouldn't look for your full 5R in a situation like that because of where you're at higher time frame. So but I'm gonna sit on the sideline still on this. I miss my heater. Okay, 35. Staying locked in though because of the higher time frame area, okay? Like I want to see shorts potential over here on that 15.5. We talked about this 700 level, remember? So 694s look pretty interesting here. Let's see the higher time frame price. Okay. So maybe you like these 694s. I like this area, right? Like we were talking about off the highs. So making sure you're framing up something on the right side of here to get down below this New York low. So it looks like this, sorry. Okay, so something like this. And then on a 1 minute, it looks like you're getting those 694s and you're trying to get just right below New York low. Might be a little early though, but I like the higher time frame area. Okay, so we'll continue to watch this area here. Yeah, we grabbed that area. That's why I was saying that the anywhere around that 700. So I got like 94s, and I'm just looking for the New York low to deliver here. Honestly, it might be done for the day because I have full volume on. New York low. Nice. We're getting that move down. The 1 minute looks really good here. If they can just go reach here fairly quickly and take that wick low. So remember, first 15-minute trades, if you have a really good entry, you could be risk off or reduce down. It's up to the trader. ES is really strong, so this might actually go up one more time still. ES just popped a new high. Let me write that down. We'll see. This may not be ready yet. But let's see here. 841. All right, and you have YM pushing higher as well, so we'll see. If this location works, then I would say I'm shooting just for that New York low. If the other two are pretty strong. They look still pretty good. We'll see. Yep, pretty much. And then just know where your 1 to 5 would be, just so you have an idea. I have it on my other window, so that's why I'm watching it there. But anything below New York low, and I would say you definitely want to have, you want to have your limit already set in that area for your partial, if it's going to go lower. But like I said, ES is so strong right now and pushing, and so is YM, that they might want to go ahead and do a continuation here. But I'm going to accept the risk. So even if you got, my bad, I seen the message. So even if you got the 690s, okay, so that, what was it, 90s would be here. Yes, that still works. Still works, okay? Just gotta accept the risk, know where your 1 to 3 is gonna be. Okay, I'm taking a screenshot of this, so I have it for the execution windows. I do like the higher time frame location. That's the only thing I like about this one. Now, if you have 690s or higher, I would say if we get to New York or below, I would cover, just because it's an opening range trade and the other assets are strong. Okay. So essentially I'll show you guys how, this is exactly how I have mine, so. So just being patient. I mean, even if it takes New York low here, it would be great. Honestly, like when you're looking at a small time frame, like 1 minute here, all the buyers are probably stuck under a trade like this. I wouldn't have taken a buy like this, so that's why I'm wanting to see, could they run those stops out first. But we'll see right here, pretty much 45. I had 94s, so if it comes back, it comes back. That's fine for me. So that one came back for me, so that's a scratch, which is fine. Sometimes I cover that position, but no, it's fine. So YM is still moving. Let's see here. Cool. Up into supply. And then previous to high 47 160s, and then 67 40s for ES. So. Okay. So nice little 5-minute fair value gap expansion right there. So higher high push. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm looking for, if it does go higher, what happens if we get above previous day high, right? Because you already have YM kind of running to that area, right? YM's coming for the area that we talked about, previous day high, like typical levels. And so the same thing should essentially be here as well. But stay locked in here. Okay. Oh, I might have missed my 1 minute. Oh no. I was kind of liking those 725s, but inside the supply area, but I missed the candle that I wanted, so I'll be patient here. But it looked pretty good here when it was up inside the 720s, and so we'll see. Ooh. I wanted to see the shorts on YM from 47.1 and then 67.10s here on ES. So if they start to make their way down, this is a really nice area. I feel like we'll see. Let's watch how this 5-minute closes here. Still closing pretty strong there, so I am watching that smaller time frame though right here. Oof, that looks like a great level. Let's see. Might be looking too short here. Let's see, 705. Let's see here. I like the area. like in those 700s again, I think they're gonna roll over, guys. I like this. All right, so somewhere like this, but it's still bullish structure, so be careful. Let's see what that 1 minute looks like. Trying to see if that 1 minute's gonna present a nice little move here. All right. So it looks like this over here. But I feel like they're still kind of choppy on that 5. We haven't got any signs of weakness yet, but ES is inside that H1 supply area as well, so it's just the 5 minute isn't really. We have to see how this 5 minute's gonna print. That 1 minute can break down. I think there's a good chance that we could roll back to that New York open or low, but we still could be very bullish. Now, if this area does go higher, I would think previous day high would be the better area where shorts or where buyers will give up. But I think this could be a good area as well. Now remember, if it does deliver, if you're in this type of position from the 700s and it delivers your 3R, I took a scratch on the first one, so make sure you have your volume set to cut, and then we'll be identifying lower levels inside this range, 24,550s, if price starts to really break down. So something like this, and you're looking for, you know, obviously a little bit more of a breakdown to the 600 level, but right now price is still holding pretty bullish. So we need to really like break below this 5 minute area, 660s. So that structure is just holding. We're coming into that 9. Structure's still pretty bullish right there on the small time frames. We'll see how that plays out. This 5 minute close. This 5 minute close is above 700s or bullish at all, then obviously they'll continue up to, I think, the 800 level. Come on, guys, flush a seat though. All right, still watching this 5 minute here. That close looks above 700s. Well, it was slightly lower. Let's see. Just slightly. Still bullish structure though. ES still inside that supply area too, so let's see. Okay, I like how that looks on H1. Like I said, if we can roll back to that New York Open, guys, before going lower here on that 5 minute, I would think that this could go for that New York low. But we would need to see, you know, a pretty aggressive 5 minute push below 700s. And anything back above 700s is still showing signs of 750s or higher, so just gotta be patient. Kind of getting a kind of peak above 700s. Still might be a little strong. They look pretty strong there on that 5. So if you took that one, I had went break even on that first one. That's an actual scratch for sure on that one. The previous day high probably, or 800s would be the level. They're still inside the area, but they're just really bullish. Let me check those 4 hours. Yeah, just gotta be patient. We're coming into that 9. Yeah, they should deliver that. They look like they're gonna deliver that previous day high for sure on YM. So that's why I want to see how they're gonna hang up in here. So 1 break even, 1 scratch, and so I really want to see what they're gonna do. Okay, I'm watching this area. All right, so new highs on NQ. Let's see here. Just gotta be patient. Previous day highs delivered on YM. Talked about that in the pre-market. Okay. Now I'm just eyeballing this area because I'm looking at it on a smaller time frame, just so you guys have an idea. But you can kind of see what it looks like on the 1 minute here. But until I get the signs, I don't have the signs right now. I'm just trying to see if they're gonna print this over here. Okay, let's stay focused here. Oof, that might have been too quick. So I think I just missed that one because I wanted those 725s, like 728s right here. So let me stay focused here. If you guys got that trade, obviously have your your partial ready. That was a really good one, I feel like. Especially with YM delivering the previous day highs at the same time. And we're still inside this area. Everything's pretty bullish though, so I just, like I said, I like this area being with the fast push-up candle here in the 15. Let me lock in here. No, I'm not in this trade currently because I didn't catch this one, but I thought this would be a great area based on higher time frames, so I'm going to be monitoring this area. One minute looks pretty strong, so I'm going to remove this for a second because I don't really see it breaking down right now. And then ES is H1 closed body higher, so we'll see. This could be the area. I'm watching small time frame still. Still pretty bullish here, too. ES looks really strong, and so YM starting to close above the previous day high, so it's locked in here. Watching the small time frames, so bring this back. Just like in this area, I'm watching the small time frame 1 minute, see if it's gonna roll. Alright, because it just looks like they're kind of halting, so we'll see. I like it. It's just, are they going to break down? That 5 minute structure is still holding. The 1 minute was kind of showing possible from this type of area, but we'll see. And then with ES showing that weakness as well, right below 67.25, there could be a chance. I have one break even, one scratch, so I don't know where you guys are at. Just protect yourself though. And then, like I said, this looked pretty good right in this area based on high time frame location as well. So we'll see how the 5 minute prints right here. If this 5 minute prints very aggressively down and delivers at 1 to 3, I think New York low would be hit. But it's like right now they're still stacking bullish. So just got to see. But I like it. I like how they're starting to 5 minute sign of weakness. Let's see. So if you're in that position from that area, then I would say make sure you're partial because this hasn't broken the 5 minute structure yet. But if it slips below this low and you're in, I would say anywhere above 713s or yeah, anywhere above 713s, 15s, I would be break even if we slip this low right here, right? Because you're close to your 1 to 3 partial, but at the same time, you know, this isn't really showed me a breakdown yet, so. Okay, so if you have a pretty good entry, you could be break even already, okay, on this type of position, depending on where you got. If you have 720s or higher, you could, that way you could refactor if you wanted to, because it doesn't look like it's falling. So my break even was met, so if they fall and roll over here, that is what it is. And I'll just continue to wait here on this 5. Now if they slide from right here, be ready, because this is where I want to be focused as well on the mitigation. But ES isn't really showing any weakness yet, so we'll see here. And I'm just waiting for a small time frame price action and maybe confirm something. If not, then I'll see if it continues higher. But I am watching this area tight here. Yeah, it looks still strong. Alright, let's watch this 5 minute close. H1s look pretty strong. ES still pretty strong. Okay, so new high. So that's an invalid area, so we'll just wait and see how 5 minute price plays. And I have 2 break evens and 1 scratch. Okay, so first one, I went break even on that one too. I think the best place to short for this would be if we get the previous day high sweep, but also I won't negate like the 80 level, like right before they get there. But looking at H1s over here in this other window, we're just in that area to focus. But the H4 and H1 was the explosive push that we wanted to see as well, so it's kind of okay. Okay, watching this area tightly. All right, I'm just looking at this guy. That 5 minute still looks really good though. So I'm not like looking to short here yet. I'm looking for 1 minute signs of weakness. If not, and that continues to just stay strong, then great. Okay, cool. Invalid area still. Cool. And then I like this. What a daily candle too. That's a nice one. There's a nice gap below on 599s on QQQ as well. So that's also what I'm looking at here. Okay. All right, guys, stay locked in on this area. It looks strong. Just kind of looking at that, okay? Understanding what's going on, potential. Now, it doesn't mean I'm taking a trade. It just means I'm looking at the area. Wow, the area just ripped, guys. So we got to be locked in right there. Damn. Might have missed that. I feel like that was a good area with the higher time frame we're looking at here. Still stacking though. So still looks pretty bullish, so I'm just trying to be patient here and see how this 5-minute candle closes. If it does close with some weakness inside this higher time frame area, I will be identifying that 1-minute price, that imbalance, that little fair value gap they created. Oh, it's cold. So looking at like this here. This is still stacking bullish, so I'm just being patient. Ooh, now I'm watching. Let's see here. This is kind of like the area I like to see though. Let's see. Still looks pretty strong here on 5. Let's see how this candle closes. Let's be ready right here at the close. Five-minute bearish close. I like that 5-minute bearish close, guys. Let's see. It's like somewhere in the area that it's at right now, like where that 5-minute candle opened. Let's see if the 5-minute structure is still holding so strong. So I'm just trying to see if they're going to give that signal. Let's see. 1 minute's kind of pushing into the fair value gap. So let's see how it responds there. still pretty strong on 5 minutes. I'm not seeing any breakdown after that candle yet. But like where we talked about the area here just a second ago, sorry, was with your stop at the high and that 1 minute fair value gap, but they're not filling the 1 minute fair value gap in like a bearish way. They're still holding that demand. So let's see. Like if you look at it from this perspective here, say you entered inside the fair value gap and your risk is at the high, you'd want to see a rejection here very quickly that this is gonna play out. Yeah, we have 1 scratch and 2 break evens so far on futures, depending on where you got in on entries. But I like this area just because it still fits the criteria of the higher time frame, and your 1 to 3 is right here fairly quick, so that's usually a pretty good chance with ES as well. Grabbing weakness and then YM delivering the liquidity and grabbing weakness is pretty good sign. Potentially we could see it, but looking at that 1 minute here, it did fill the fair value gap pretty well. So if you entered inside that 744 area and risk is at 61, so like anywhere in 41s and like a 20 handle risk, but like the 5 minute hasn't showed us the weakness that we need to see yet for that type of play. So still waiting on that 5. Everything's still pretty strong there. I'm watching the 1 minute though still, just 'cause I like this area. Not yet though. Not yet. Yeah, I would be patient to the previous day high. You always want to wait for the draw and liquidity outside the range. We're still waiting. We had 1 scratch and then 2 break evens. So I think the best trade will come above these highs. So this is just marking out the area, and then I'm identifying and looking at the 1. I don't want you guys to miss the area if I'm looking at it. But that's invalid now just because the 5 minute is starting to print higher here. So, but we're still in a good location. Okay, so I'll bring this back. Just want to still have it so you guys can see the area that we're still studying. That 1 minute looks really interesting. Watching this 5. Alright. 5 minutes still pretty strong. Let's see. Yes, a little bit of weakness. And what we're looking for on a small time frame is the actual entry strategy, but it's not present. I like to be able to see this this window. $5 minutes still look pretty strong. Yeah, it's what you call, I mean, the price action is just bullish continuation right now. Because of where we're at, that's where I'm focused on, seeing what we can see here. So unless we get the 1 minute signal, we just wait for this area. If it continues to go through, then that area just becomes invalid, but we still want to have the area marked. And then ES was looking still pretty strong there. Okay, so this area is invalid, so we're waiting for the 5 minute fast up candle, or we're waiting for that delivery on liquidity still. I'm just gonna keep this up because I do think the shorts are gonna come in at some point here. I like that 1 minute time frame, how it's playing here at 750s. But let's see. Wait for this 5 minute close. Okay, really watching this area, guys. Especially on that 1 minute time frame, okay? Those 745s look interesting. Like 750 area. Alright, so that's this. When you look at the small time frame, it's starting to break down right here, okay? And so those 750s look interesting down if this 5 minute candle starts to get weak and that 1 minute price rolls over. But we're still pretty bullish. I'm gonna buy two. Just trying to see if we can see a little something. 5 minutes still strong though. Let's see. Let's see how it closes. Close bullish. Let's see. Yeah, still having trouble at 725s. There's no 5 minute weakness yet, so. I like this 1 minute though. If it can break below 730s, then it should roll. But they're still pretty strong on 5 minutes. Okay. Check that 1 hour. We still got previous day highs, so don't forget. So just depending on where you've put up already. 5 minutes still looking strong. You want to see a 5 minute sign of weakness candle, so we're not seeing that candle yet to take the 1 minute area shorts. If you like the 750s though, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them just because where they're at location wise, but I'd like to see at least a 5 minute bearish candle. But if you like the 1 minute area and you like 750s with your risk at the high, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that one as a chance. All right, make sure you have your framework right, and then we'll see how this, if this 5 minute can print bearish right here to the right side, then that would be the sign to me that they're gonna at least attack back to New York Open and maybe the low. And so make sure you have your 1 to 3s marked, and then your 1 to 5 area would be back to New York Open, so protecting or paying yourself at point of interest. But I would think New York low would be the actual target that you really want. So somewhere like in here, inside this inefficiency, if this actually rolls. And 5 minutes just aren't really getting weak here yet. So that's like the whole basis of it right now. Is like you want to see some 5 minute weakness here. I like it from this perspective though here, if it can roll. So just how this 5 is going to print. Okay, so if you're in that trade, like I said, in this 5 minute here in a minute, prints bearish, then there's a good chance that this, like I said, will at least deliver the 1 to 3, and then maybe New York low is a good target. But let's continue to watch this 5 minute though, because they need to aggressively come through a level like these two levels here, through 700s, if they're going to actually take back some of this New York high buys. But I like it. Okay, it's a good rollover right there. 1 minute looks pretty interesting, so but we don't want to get stuck there. We want to see if it's going to break this candle, because if it doesn't break this candle right here with some aggressiveness, then it's not going to work out. Depending on if you did sell this and you got in around 750 level though, you could be break even, right? Depending on where you got in. Like if you got in like right on the break area, I would say you don't have to really risk, because you're essentially just waiting for that partial to deliver. So, but I like it. I like it here. Nice. And so depending on your entry, like I said, you can go break even. Me personally, I have the 741s, so I'm going to go ahead and protect that trade, okay? And if we get our delivery, great, and then we're looking for imbalances to the downside. So we'll see if they deliver here or not. I do like this though from this perspective, obviously right here, for the bounce back play. But let's see if they can deliver the partial, because that'll make the, I had 2 break evens and 1 scratch. That'll deliver my my scratch back right here. So let's focus on 5s though. Okay, so it looks like we are going to get that delivery through the area, potentially. And then look, I'm going to show you, cool. So we got that delivery over here. So like this is what I was talking about when it comes to your higher time frame and understanding, right? We knew that YM had delivered liquidity, so buyers were going to exit. We knew we were inside a supply candle on ES, and essentially here, right, when it comes to NQ, we knew we were inside the 15-minute supply candle as well. So we had an opportunity to see a slide over more than just trying to buy it up again. Okay. So you should be break even on the remainder of your trade if you're not already, and your partial should have delivered depending on your entry. All right, so you shouldn't have any risk on the trade because they haven't really showed us they're going to drip lower yet, but your partial should have delivered. Okay, so we'll continue to watch this area here. Watch this 5-minute close here. Okay. So even if you grabbed the 740s, let's say here, right? Let's say your entry was at 740. You still would be at a 1 to 3 essentially, or at least be break even no matter what, okay? So we'll continue to watch this area. If you feel, if you've lost a trade or two, right, and you didn't hit break evens on those others, then go ahead and trail your risk to the 5-minute high here just to secure the bag if you like. It's up to you. It's up to the trader. But I like us going back down when you think about scoops. All right, I like us to go back down. This is our swing high. This is our swing high. This is our swing low. So 50% of this area would be basically the 600 level. So for us to go down to that level would make sense to me to get below New York low to fill the imbalances here. So bang. All right, guys, if you guys are in those trades with me, you should be back to green day if you did exactly like the same thing I did. And then your partial has delivered, and then you're looking for at least below New York lows, right? So that's a 1 to 3. This would be a 1 to 5. So on your remainder, this would be a 2.5. And if you deliver the New York low, you're looking at like still a 3R delivery, all right, plus your 1.5. So that's a good day right there, guys. That's a great day right there. And we're gonna play the runner today, all right? The other day we didn't play the runner, so we're playing the runner today. All right. So bang. W's in the chat. Now, if you're good, right? Like say you lost a trade, and you have, your half volume on here, and you don't want to let anything come back on you, right? Then go ahead and just trail your risk right here to the 3R area, so you secure another 1.5 no matter what happens. But what I'm anticipating is that we're gonna get this 5-minute candle here, 9:30 to 9:35. Unless we just immediately respond up, I think that we're gonna get the push through the New York low because of how they're engineered here. But they can easily respect this level and turn up, so just be ready. I'm gonna stay risk off. So like for these guys, I'm risk off. I'm just have these up here so you guys can see them. And then looking at the higher time frame, let me look around really quick. Higher high, higher low, higher high. We would need to really actually break lower here than this candle. In my perspective, we would have to go lower than here and stay below 700s. So we'll watch how this 5-minute closes here. Because essentially it's like they're still holding, like this was a level, and then they push higher and they're holding. So we need to see them break lower than that, right? If they're gonna go lower, because if they're not, then they're gonna hold. Like you have this level and this, they're gonna hold inside of here and go back and make new highs. But regardless, we were able to partial, so it's still a pretty good trade. So like I said, depending on what type of day you've had, you could go ahead and secure the bag if you like. I'm gonna go ahead and hold. Excuse me. I'm gonna go ahead and hold the remainder because I still think we're gonna deliver through for our 7R, which remainder would be 3.5R plus 1.5, so still over like a 4R day, and then minus my loss. So it makes me about 3.5R if it delivers just below New York low, which is great. Take a screenshot of this one. I like it. Okay, so that's what I have on the remainder, and we'll continue to watch this here. And then just a quick pan over, since we have a second here. As you guys can see, the 15-minute respected perfectly the ES candle. So I'm also watching like ES right now. We got that delivery on liquidity on YM, which that makes sense. So to see this in this area, okay, makes a lot of sense of why we're seeing what we're seeing on NQ, okay? Because we're wanting to see now those New York buyers get clapped because where they put their risk. Okay. So we're back. So guys, if we do deliver those 600s or below New York low, that'll probably be the end of the YouTube session, and then we'll be on the lookout, like I said today, for the Discord. I'm gonna be dropping the free Discord for the community, so we can drop charts, conversate, talk, and just grow as a unit. Now, if you're unsure about if you're going to get to this area and you don't want to just stay break even, you want to secure some kind of R multiple, move your risk to the 1 to 2 spot. So that makes you secure another 1R plus your 1.5. So it's still a pretty good day. But for me personally, what I'm going to do is I'm waiting on this delivery of New York low. All right. And then I really like the key levels below, like below that London low, which was I thought London lows was really good. So the imbalance is 24,468, right? So this imbalance is really where my eyes are set. There's one here, right? So a small little fair value gap here. IMB, right? Fair value gap, same thing. And then another one that I'm focused on and key level for today is going to be this 24,550s. Okay, because if we come down to 24,550, that's going to be a beautiful setup based on where the overnight buyers are at. But getting anything below this New York opens range low, that's a pretty good trade, I think. And the reason why I like them to take this is because it's a 5-minute wick. Now you got to be careful because a 5-minute wick usually is a 1-minute dump candle, but in this situation it's a 1-minute wick, so that kind of makes it more high probable to me that they could 5-minute push through there and then come up to, I said this imbalance, but the one that we're really focused on honestly is this one, right here in this area right under the liquidity. So we get that, I'll probably be out on futures, and then I'll just manage the CFDs. Let's go, Chris, with the bag. Let's go, bro. Partials at least, right? I mean, I'll make sure and be a little bit more vocal when I'm doing the break evens as well. So it's kind of up to the trader though, so it's not really, but all right, let me focus up here, guys. So imagine this, like I said, you want to watch this 5-minute area at point of interest. If it starts to wick away from the 650s and from New York, great. But if it starts to close strong here and starts to build strength, this would be essentially a V-shaped recovery. It'll wick away from this area and go higher. But like I said, most likely I'd like to see them come for that New York low. We get that, and that's a bang. Okay. ES is sliding right now. Let me pull that over here real quick so you guys can see that comparison here. All right, ES, NQ, right? So you can see the comparison. They're sliding right here. So that's a good sign, right? That we're attacking lower. And then you have New York low on ES as well. All right, so if you're taking those ES trades as well, New York low, New York low. All right, so that's a good target. Now you're looking for divergences. Are they going to take the low on ES and leave NQ open, or are they going to start to test this demand area at point of interest and then run the prices back higher? That's literally what we're looking for right here. Okay. So really watching this 5-minute area here and how it's going to close. I like it. I like it. And then again, the reason why we're looking for shorts, I'll say this too, just really quick while we have a second, is we talked about QQQ, right? Fill in the gap. I said if it doesn't go above 603s, it should fill this gap. And then that would bring NQ down, okay? Beautiful. We break through these lows. You have two ways to manage this. You could have your TP set, or you could trail your risk down, right? Securing the 1 to 4 area, which would be basically these highs, right? And then when you secure that and you've already got a partial, you'd be securing half of 4, so 2. So 1.5 plus 2 is still going to give you a 3.5 day, which is really good for our multiples and staying profitable. Bang, let's get it, baby. Okay, so really watching this 5-minute close. If you want to start scaling out just to secure the bag, you could go ahead and secure the key level 24,700s. Just to be safe here. I'm watching YM's New York low as well to see if they deliver that. It's a nice imbalance right under that area as well. All right, 44 seconds on this candle. So let's see. If it closes bearish, it most likely sweeps through. So I'm taking a look just really quick at 1 minute. Like, you want to see them sweep this wick, okay? Okay. That 5 minute, let's see here. It's a bullish close. That's like an indecision close. They could run it back up, guys, so you could secure the bag if you need to on those 700s, just in case. Because if they run it all the way back to 700s, then that means they're probably going to pull it higher. Let's watch this 5 minute candle here. And this is the last 15 minutes of the hour, so this is usually when price likes to do what it does. So come on, New York lows. Deliver. We get the delivery of New York lows, then that'll be, I mean, that's a pretty good setup overall, even with the partials. Like I said, if you have, depending on where you're at for the day, secure the 700s too. If you're done pretty well today and you've still been pretty break even, like you don't have any losses, I would just secure this 1 to 2 area, 721s. But it's up to you. So. Because this is the continuation area that we could see, and ES is responding as well. So it's really going to come down to how they close this next 5-minute candle, I believe. Because they could just erase all the price. So like I said, just know where that 1 to 2 is. And that's like in that 700s area. If you don't want to be break even, another thing I like to do is go 1 to 1, right? So just put that's still going to give you a small win, but I'm just focused on seeing if we can get this delivery. Let me take some notes here really quick. Ooh, look at that 5-minute. Let's go. Stay focused. Let's stay patient here. You want to see that 5-minute stay heavy. Are any of you guys in any of these shorts? I know Chris is. Beautiful shorts from that area previous to high with YM. Beautiful. Let's see, what are they going to do? They're really holding up that level still, essentially, here at New York. Just trying to be patient here. Watching 1 hours. So 30 seconds left. If they start to close above that 7 or 650s and that New York Open here on smaller time frames, like right here, right, then they could go higher. But if they start to close below here in 20 seconds and they're starting to attack the low and this low, then I think the 5-minute will fall on through. And that's what I'm watching on the execution window. That's the window I'll be showing on the Discord as well. It's basically the same as this window here, so it's just easier to see the price. Yeah, let's see. 5-minute close right there, bearish. That's a good sign under the New York Open. So that New York low should deliver, or has a good chance to. YM just delivered its New York low. ES is like a point away. So let's see. Bang. Let's go, guys. So, so we got the New York low to deliver there. So I would say that could be a draw on liquidity, so definitely protect some of your trade if you like, especially at least that 1 to 4 area, right? If you want to protect something, or protect right above this New York, this high right here, the 675s. All right, so 675s, like that's what I'm talking about, like right here. And then we're looking for, like I said, since we got the 1 to 5 to deliver, we were looking for at least a push down to that next imbalance on the runners. So if you're looking left, you're thinking 24 550s. So 24,550 would be about a 10 to 1, with your remainder would be a 5R trade. So I like how they drew on that liquidity though, so I would make sure and protect out those 675s just in case. So I'll put a thing here, sorry. Risk off. Alright, so risk off inside these 675s. And if you took TP, like if you had, I know we talked to a couple people, we talked about 5Rs, 5R days, right? If you got that level to deliver through New York low, that should have been your TP and you're probably done for the day. So, and we could see now the transition, right? When you're looking at small time frames, you could see sorry guys. You could see that transition now because of the draw that was so much liquidity under New York low, okay? So we'll see if they come back and hit that trailer. If they don't, then like I said, I'm playing that down to the lower levels. So yeah, we'll see. Risk off at 675s. Yes, sir. Mondays. I forgot it was Monday, to be honest. Okay. I just want to take a look at ES comparison here, wherever I can, wherever I put it. I'm sorry if that's super loud, guys. But you guys see they delivered the New York low, and then sells started to cover that position, and same thing with NQ. So, shit. So cool. Mine, like I said, I trailed everything, the rest down. So. And then what time was that? 9:50, 2:55. So we delivered the New York low. For me, for this it's all good, bro. Just take another day, bro. You know what I mean? Because just remember, if you control your lost day, right, to the numbers that we talked about, then tomorrow when you close that partial, you're going to recoup that losing day. So bam, if you have anything trailed to the 675s, it should deliver there. That should be a green day if you're following fairly similar to what I'm doing. I'll give a kind of update on the other assets here really quick, and then we'll hop off here and then wait for the trade review. So as you can see, guys, I know that my computer sound isn't on, so it's probably not as loud as it is, thank God. But if you guys look, we love to play shorts where buyers are going to take profits. So most likely buyers had, most of their limits for TPs above these old highs from the previous day of Friday. And then if you look left, this is YM, guys. If you're looking left and you're inside the supply, and we looked at 47,200 whole level for buyers to basically press TP. Now, if you're watching both at the same time, you can see that we had actually closed the bodies higher here, showing signs of strength. So like if you kind of look at this from this perspective and draw a line over, that's a close higher, and then you draw this over, see this is a close higher. So when I see this, I understand that there could be bullish continuations from expansions on the way up. But if I'm going to shorts are short-lived, I'm going to short down to those areas and see if we get the response. So how do we know to ridiculous. So how do we know to get out in that area? Just because, look, guys, the concepts of trading are buy low, sell high. Okay, the low of the day is here. The high of the day is essentially here now, right? The 50% is 24,500 of the day. The 50% of the range of the day. So imagine if you're buying, okay, if you're buying positions, anything above like that draw on liquidity. Like if you're buying in here in New York, you're buying inside supply, like looking left. You're buying in higher time frame areas where buyers are going to exit. So you're actually doing it backwards, but maybe, okay? And so that's why we were waiting for either a draw on previous day highs, or we are waiting for inside this 15-minute supply candle, right? Let's just kind of look at it just like this, right? Supply candle here inside the 15 to respect, and for we know the area where inside supply where they're gonna the buys are gonna exit their shorts. Or excuse me, the buys are gonna exit inside the supply zone, right? So we already knew to focus on waiting for our signal inside this zone and playing what we see no matter what. And then I would say, depending on the type of day you have, it's, you know, everybody is different, but if you managed well, then you could have been done with at least a 1 to 5, even with your full R here. But if you're following the system and cutting half at the 3R moment, then you still would have delivered your 5R plus area for like 2.5, almost 3R on that remainder. Okay, so it just depends on how you played it, but you should be in profit. If you guys have questions, just let me know on that part of the system. But I would say now that we've filled that area, overall, right, our overall bias was that we wanted to see, right, just kind of like a perspective here, we wanted to see this higher time frame 4-hour demand from last week, right? We wanted to see this candle respected. We did, right? And then we've seen price, if you guys notice little nuances that I noticed from just watching charts a lot, this 4-hour candle from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., the body closed higher, showing signs of strength, as well as this H1. So that shows me from the most previous low to where the body closed that we most likely are going to see continuation. Now, can price roll over here from where they came and tapped that risk off area and roll? Of course it can. All right, but still a pretty good day overall. So we'll continue to watch this 5 here just really quick, and then I'll probably be hopping off of here fairly quickly. Where's my coffee? Yeah, now the main thing I would just say is if you did have a losing day, is just walk away, you know, and make sure you control that loss. Because like I said, tomorrow when you take that same, you know, your full volume trade, you're going to open up that trade. The, you know, 1 to 3 will deliver probably in 5 or 6 minutes, and you've erased that. So cool, we did what we needed to do. Guys, like I said, be on the lookout today in my announcements page on Telegram for the free Discord. It will have where you can basically drop charts, we can discuss, we can talk, and all that jazz. So if you guys have any trouble getting into that, just let me know and I can send you a direct link. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and start doing my notes for this morning and call that a small win day and go about my day. So that being said, I appreciate you guys. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions on anything, and we'll be back again same time tomorrow. And if I had to pick, you know, just a bias on what I'm anticipating still, is that with that draw on liquidity, if we continue to see 5-minute strength going forward, they'll go ahead and run out the rest of the shorts, the people who are just holding on to hold on. But also as well, because we delivered that liquidity so well, I'd be interested to see if we can close above key levels here, 24,700s at all, right? And then possibly roll over. But the way it looks and the way it's stacking and how fast that was, most likely I think they go ahead and take the upside away. So do this really quick here. And then very quickly, I will go over the CFD pricing because I know some of you guys are still holding the shorts. All right. Okay, so I'll show that pricing. I don't have it marked up because I just watch NQ and take the trade. But let's say you have those shorts, so I'm gonna kind of mark it up fairly quickly here in these first 15 minutes of 10. So you have the daily open. Let me just erase everything here, so we just start fresh on this one. So we have that daily, and this is for the swing trades, guys. They're essentially right now the same price, and that's only because we're about to have rollover. I do still have the shorts on my personal CFD though. Yes. Okay, so this was the market open. Okay, this was our New York open. This is the end of day. Okay, so let's do this one. That's really quick. Okay, and so that's in New York open. This is going to be the previous day high. This is the previous day low, right? 1500 hours. Okay, cool. But while I'm marking this up, like I said, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Previous day low. And this is the NAS 100 price where you take personal trades on. Okay, so we have daily open, which is the market. We need to mark London. Okay, London open, which was like here, I think. Okay. Okay, cool. So now, same thing, right? If you're still short on these positions, let's go to 15.5 here. All right, we took the same position that we took inside that 5-minute special candle, right? So you probably took an entry inside the, 724s, 730s, wherever that would be, right? Stop loss at the high for about a 20 handle risk, right? And then now you're targeting down. Now, what I would say is same thing, right? There's really no difference. So I'm just showing this because like I know I have some people that only can trade CFDs, especially like in Germany and stuff. So same areas and same liquidity pools, essentially to me. So you have that imbalance right under here that could be delivered. You have the one that's down here, right, which is the next spot of area that I would be really having my eyes on going into like that second half of the day. And then for the swing trades, one thing we talked about, I think it was me and Philip, we talked about this, like pre-New York, was the London low, right? You always want to know where London lows, London highs are, right? So that London low is a really, really good target for something like this, right? Because it could deliver through. Now, again, remember, I always like to target demand candles where buyers are going to step in. And I also really love the inefficiency levels here like this, right? So this is an inefficiency imbalance, and it's right under that that London low. And so that could deliver. So looking at this level, which is right under the current lows, which looks reasonable, and then with that 5-minute close like that, that looks pretty good signs of weakness to continue to roll over. So now I would be anticipating, like I said, 24,525s, this level here, and then how they engineered the overnight to start the day. We could be looking at a possible low of day on those swings, which would be awesome. But low day, low day, low day. Okay, so I'll go back to the NQ price because that way you guys have an idea of what we're looking for still here. But kind of similar to Friday, I'd say like when it comes to futures, I'm just trying to get my R multiples in play. But essentially, what you could be doing in this situation here as well, like say you took, let me go back to 15.5. This. Let's say you took this area and you had shorts from, where do we have shorts from? 740s. Let's just say 740 area. All right, and you're looking for the push down. I would say something like this would be pretty good. I mean, you're looking at over a 1 to 10, even on a runner, right? If you still have runners, you're still looking at like a 5R. Now, let's just say this, for example. Let's say when that price delivered and you had 4 contracts you had already cut 2 at your 1 to 3, and then you cut another, let's just say 1 at the New York low, and you had 1 runner still going. Well, now you just got to look at your R multiple from this perspective. Because if it was at 2 contracts, for me personally, like half volume, however you're doing it, it's going to be half volume. At 2 contracts, I'm still looking at a 5R. But if I only have 1 contract on the runner and I'm still targeting 10, right, I'm looking at like a 2.5R on the runner, if that makes sense. Okay, so. But I think we did pretty good today. So, like I said, that'll be it for me today. I'll leave it up here just for a second if you guys have any more questions. And then be on the lookout, like I said, for the Discord and the trade review later today. Okay. So we'll watch here, guys, till about 10:15. Then I'm gonna slide. Okay, let's see. Like I said, I'm just still looking here at this. Just want to see how this 15.5 is going to present. I feel like the rollover is bound to happen at some point. Right, like I like this area. If you guys are still late to a trade or anything like this, I would like something like this if I was still trying to position. Okay, something like that looks pretty interesting on a 5 and 15. All right, I'll have to look at a 1. But on a 5 and 15, if you're able to get your entry inside this candle with your risk above it, getting below these lows, it's like for my trailing trade, I'm looking to still get like below this area. Okay. But let's look at the 1 to 3. I think the 1 to 3 will definitely deliver, and then it's just like it's just more than likely to get to this 550 level if it can roll over here. That doesn't mean just take a trade there either. I'm just monitoring this area to see, like I'm watching small time frames and seeing like, oh, okay, this could be a potential area. Okay. These. Golly, dude. My bad. I gotta turn that down. Now they are testing really tight in that area. So like I said, you don't just take a trade in there. You'd want to see like 5 minute, 1 minute price. All right. And so it looks a little bit more hectic over there. I just want to see if they're going to roll for these swing trades. Now, if they don't roll here and they start to really accumulate again, where that risk off area is, if you have any of those CFD trades, I might go ahead and trail some of my risk down to those 700 levels here. Just because price could definitely come back up to 750s or higher. So, just trying to see. But I'm not in a trade right here. Like I said, I'm just monitoring this area. I'm already out for the day on futures. Seeing if they're going to deliver. What time is it? Yeah, so the 1 minute price is starting to really hold. So I would say on those CFDs, it's up to you. And depending on your entry, but I would definitely, you could either secure the bag or just stay break even. It's up to you. I feel like the continuation is going to happen though. So I don't have any buys left because of how they engineered the open. Right? Let's say you had buys from Friday. They destructed those. Okay, they clapped those. So cool. That area would be invalid, I would say. So at that point, you know, when we had our risk off area, then you had a 5 minute close higher. So now you're starting to get higher high, higher low, and price starting to shift, you know, back into that that bullish structure. So that'd be it for me today. CFD, like I said, I partialed out as much as I need to, and just staying break even from the remainder. But that being said, like I said, be on the lookout for the Discord a little bit later today, and then for live trading again here at the same time, same place. So appreciate you guys. Talk to you guys a little bit later. Have a great day.